Hello, everyone. Glad you're all able to join us tonight. It's Steve and Mrs. Steve. Mrs. Steve has uh, decided that she wanted to give it a try tonight, so she may be a little bit slower. She's down to one hand. You can show them your club right quick, and but she decided to come on down and help me tonight. So anyway, as always, a little bit before we get into it, Nightbot will be out there for all our mods and everything for the prompts. And then for the anyone in chat, if you're new here, just be respectful of all the mods, families, and each other, and enjoy your time with us. And with that being said, I will get into a brief introduction for all the new people.
Dave, this is for you. This is the club.
Is Dave in here?
He is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I did full disclosure, Dave, to what you said about changing all the Georgia stuff to
That'll
Alabama.
get you. That's going to get you.
Yeah, she says she's going to put you in timeout. But anyway, guys, all right, so we'll get into the introduction here.
Maybe.
All right. As always, this is Steve, Mrs. Steve, and I'm Steve. I'm retired law enforcement, 20 years of service. Started my career off in jail. Worked road, went into investigations, and during those 20 years, I had all different types of training, from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician, which helped my investigative career immensely. And I've handled all different types of cases, from simple thefts all the way up to homicides. Then I retired and decided to become an ambassador for law enforcement, and created this channel. And it's expanded out to our Ci-CLOPS program and to also our code case, which I got some information. Spoke to Larry today, and also Chris from Mob Crew and we had I don't know, probably an hour or so meeting on in reference to some future cases that we're working on. So we'll get into all of that. But let's start off with Richard Allen here. As the court slowly makes progress, and they've now found out that the jury will be coming from Allen County, which I believe is the same county where the judge comes out of, and from Fort Wayne. And so from that, they'll be busting them in, and where they will be staying, I don't know exactly how far that will be, because
it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, there's not a lot in Delphi. But I think there's some other communities that's not too far, but it still would be if they, whatever type of housing they supply, because I can't imagine they would want them to drive that far every day if they allow them to go home. I think it's like an hour and a half drive, so that would not be something
that's not conducive.
No, that's not conducive to an alert jury. But they'll hash all that out, and I'm looking forward to it as it goes forward, and to see exactly how the court proceedings go. We're going to have a lot of hearings, and as I spoke about the other night, with the South Carolina homicide trial that's going on right now, where they brought in that expert on the firearm, that talked about something that's going to be very similar to Richard Allen's and his firearm expert that would be coming in for the state of Indiana and their expert during those evidence proceedings. I'm looking forward to those, and they should be starting up at some point. They're going to have a lot of different types of hearings and things. And speaking of hearings, of something that may or may not be related, Mr. Keegan Klein, he has his next hearing has been moved to March the 30th, and which his attorneys has requested, and a judge in Miami County approved that request. This man here has had I don't know how many postponements and hearings set back. Is it going to be related to this? I don't know. We absolutely know there is some type of connection. There's, for that, it's documented in the transcripts. It was part of that interview where law enforcement questioned him about it and discussed it. And, this individual is the one that looked up how many or how long does DNA last on a body, which is something that just out of this world. That who in the world would look up something like that other than someone that is worried about something. And also, we don't know if all the other, like the search of the service station of the marathon in Delphi is correct or not. Murder sheet says it was, but are they right or wrong? We just don't know. If that does come to pass, that it is true, then of course, I just don't know how the district attorney will be able to focus everything onto Richard Allen without bringing in this individual as some type of connection. An individual that had spoke to the Libby and Abby the morning of, that is reported in the transcript, and had been catfished by this individual who is easily pointed out as having motive. And that's going to be a hard sell, that if they can't prove the some type of connection, it will always be that third party alternate suspect, and the defense will absolutely jump on that horse and ride it as hard as they can, trying to show that their client is not the one that is responsible. Although there's a lot of evidence that they're going to have to overcome. Like I said, anything about that unspent round that was found that has been matched as coming from the firearm owned by Richard Allen, that's huge. And it's found at the homicide scene. And how many and you think back, if you're on a jury or ever have been on a jury, or if you was going to be on this jury, what type of story would have to come out to explain how a item belonging to an individual who says he didn't see the victims that day, witness puts him within a few hundred feet of those two victims as they're walking towards him, and he puts himself in a certain location at a certain time that is supported by a witness that says, yes, I was there and I saw an individual there. And then a few hundred feet from that, he says that he never saw the two victims, and yet a unspent round from his firearm is found at the murder scene. And I just don't know what story he will ever be able to come up with, or how his attorneys will destroy that. They may be fighting to get that one piece of evidence excluded. If they get that bullet excluded from being part of the trial, then it's going to be a much harder sell for a conviction. And but we'll see where that goes. But now we'll move on. Tonight we're going to be covering a lot of different areas, and of course this was one of them. And then if you have any information regarding this case, regardless if it's from Richard Allen, Kegan Klein, Libby, Abby, we want justice for them. Make sure law enforcement has that information if at all possible. So we're going to what's happening out in Idaho, which is another absolutely unbelievable turn of events, and it's making its way through the Main Street media, and it should, for the fact that we have the attorney who is now public defender that's representing Kohlberger, at one point represented the mother of the slain student, Zana, and she withdrew, recused herself from that situation. And what information does she have about that, and how could she use it, and is it a conflict? That's going to be up to the judge. We'll make sure that whatever the arguments are, and what the case law is this something that is uncommon? Probably not. I'm sure it happens quite a bit in small towns, because you have a lot of you only have a few attorneys within a small population. and they'll represent people that are in trouble for certain events or certain things that have happened in their life. And then, of course, you may get to a major case. Although this is something that is of the highest priority that could carry repercussions as far as the penalty phase of it, and maybe some type of appeal process for him if he wishes to proceed. And also, as whatever the mother, as she moves forward, because there's going to be some hearings on this, and it may even go to the Idaho State Supreme Court to have a clarification at some point. I don't know, because in all of my career, I've never known. I've been there where there's been people that one attorney had at one point or another represented several people sitting at a table, but this is the first time I've ever seen where it's one that's representing a homicide. So we'll see where it goes. But they have evidence hearings that are going to be coming up in late June, and there will be some of these hearings determining if there is any type of conflict way before June, because this will be addressed. Either the clerk, whatever the court decides, the court would decide. But it's absolutely amazing to me. Like I said, we're getting a lesson on a lot of things. And then also, if you have any information regarding this case of the homicides of Madison, Kaylee, Ethan, Rosanna, make sure that you have that information provided to law enforcement. And if you have any information on the suspect, Koberger, absolutely make sure it gets to the proper authorities. And then on Ci-CLOPS, we got to that part of it. We're having a mixture show tonight. I've been busy with her for the last couple of days, and so
blame it on me.
So just to have a coffee and includes format. We hadn't done one probably maybe a month and a half. It's been quite a while, and so I thought we'd go ahead and do that, make it a little bit easier on Mrs. Steve. And so on Ci-CLOPS, tell them where you're at.
Ci-CLOPS, I have 3 states ready to input, trying to get that done this weekend. There's probably 6 states left, and then the contiguous 48 will be done, and then I'll go back and try to clean up some. If you see anything that's incorrect or needs added, just send it to steve@truecrimeweb.com, and I'll be sure to get it up there.
Yes, and she's down to one hand now, and she doesn't want me to help very much.
No.
She understands my abilities. Then, like I said, Chris and I spoke to an expert today. I have a case in Texas that we're about to work on, and then there's some other cases that we're looking at. And regardless of the additional cases, we talked to that expert today for probably over an hour, and it's called electrical resistivity imaging, or ERI or ERT. There's a topography or something that also related to this that goes by both names. And it's absolutely amazing how that process works, that they can identify any type of ground disturbances. And it's very similar, works on a different type, but it has creates the ground imaging sort of like the ground penetrating radar. But this is a different process. It's not affected by the water table. Like I said, I learned more about this process today, and it's absolutely the thing I was looking for regarding what we're going to be doing in Texas. And I'm going to see Larry. I'm leaving for Sunday, which brings up for all the members on Sunday. I won't be having my Sunday night, all the members meeting, because I'm going to be on the road. I hope to be back in a day or two, because I got to go up there and make sure I get all the information from Larry, so that whenever I go to Texas, that we have all the properties that we need to look at. There may be several properties, and but I've got to make sure we have them all in order. And but Chris, absolutely, he set it up, and we had a great meeting. And I want to thank him for that and participating. And we look forward to working together and with this expert also that says that she will absolutely join the team and help us in any shape, form, or fashion to bring relief to these families of these cold cases, and which is absolutely humbling. As you go out and we are being contacted by these professionals, and it gives us the opportunity to move forward and have an impact. That's what it's all about, and I look forward to whatever we can find and eliminate certain areas. And this is one of the processes we'll be using. I actually even like it a little bit better than some of the cadaver dogs for the fact that this can, regardless of the age of the ground disturbance, this can identify it. Whereas possibly K9 may or may not. But if you dig a hole and you disturb that earth, from my understanding, if done correctly and properly by the proper trained expert, they will be able to identify that soil disruption. And I'm looking forward to working on that. All right. And I think that's the last of that. Yes, it is. So as we move forward, we got any questions or anything?
You got a few.
Okay.
Let's see here.
And I appreciate y'all bearing with us. Like I said, it's been a couple of long days. Mrs. Steve is still, she got so tired of laying down. That's how come she wanted to get up and sit upright for a little while.
All right. And this is from Dave. Steve, if LE got reviewed the old tip, how long would it take to get a PCA and question RA and then make an arrest?
I think that we probably saw, I think it was within 90 days. I think when they went back and whoever found that tip or whoever brought it to notice once again that everything was fast tracked. And it was probably, within 3 months, it probably less than that, maybe even 45 days to make sure everything's going, and we focus and we start looking and assembling everything, because it would have took the whoever found it to get with the investigator. They would have went back, checked all the records, compiled all the information, went back and interviewed all the witnesses of that day, and may or may not have shown some of them lineups. And what are, doing a financial on an individual is not easy. Doing a background of all the social media that is out there about a family. And some of that has to be done before it's public knowledge. And it is pretty intense. And because once the word gets out, it's done. And people can go in there and they can start trying to clean up their history, destroy evidence, or manipulate whatever they can to try to start covering their tracks, which sometimes can benefit law enforcement also. That if people do certain and take certain steps to hide their any type of involvement, can be brought in and explained and shown to a jury.
All right, and this is for me. Mrs. Steve, why aren't you still in bed having everybody waiting on you hand and foot, catering to your slightest whim? I laid in bed yesterday all day. I just couldn't do it today.
Yeah. She was so self-conscious this evening about being on the show. And I told her, I said, well, you're country cute today. I said,
cute.
I said, you've never been told you were country cute.
No, never. All right. And from Lee, Steve, I wanted to ask, why is no one speaking about Ethan other than he is one of the victims?
Probably for the fact that no one's looked at him as possibly being one of the being stalked. It was just that he happened to have been there, and do, and I will always think that he played a vital part in that of disrupting um, the offender, Kohlberger. In this case, he, as always, innocent until proven guilty. But if he is the offender, he may have been expecting one or two victims if he was targeting, and then of course his plan gets sidetracked, and then he goes in. If we go by what the surviving witness states, and there's an encounter in Zana and Ethan, the room. And is that something that totally threw him for a loop? Did he get injured? Did he hurt himself? You know, we just don't know. And but yes, I think just for the fact that he wasn't probably the one that was targeted, that's how come they kind of have not focused much on him. Uh-oh.
Michelle Nicholas, member for 4 months.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. But yeah, I think it just for him being a male and not being the focus of any type of targeting, stalking, that involvement. But absolutely, we have to keep him and his family in our thoughts for the fact that he is a victim of this, and he will be focused upon with the courts. And but I do believe that his involvement may have saved the other, especially the surviving witness on that second floor. My opinion.
All right. And Jackie B., there are a few cases local to me in PA that really need solved.
Man, there are everywhere.
Yeah.
But,
if there's one that touches your heart, send it to us.
Yeah. Yes, I've got lined up, and I've got a file, and as we look at them, and if there's anything, I make contacts. I made contact with a family last week that of a case in Georgia. That no, they said they're going to get back with me, and a little bit older. I mean, they're not. They have children, but of course.
Another one, Teresa, 3-month member. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. We
This
appreciate
is
your
fun. Y'all
support.
keep it up.
She can. I told y'all last night on the morning watch. She likes playing with that blue light.
I love my blue light. All right. And from Molly at True Crime Web, any idea what the next court date is for KK? More deals, or is this the tentative trial date?
I believe it said March the 30th in the article I read. And does that mean it's going to happen March the 30th?
No.
No. But this is what this one hearing. Now, there may be other hearings, but this is the one hearing that they've talked about that the Miami County has approved the request. And how he keeps getting that, because they've been going postponements for month after month after month. Absolutely amazing. And I don't know which type of hearing it is, but maybe he'll, I don't know.
All right. And the Bible group, GPR is awesome. Can you recommend a specific brand of GPR machine considering getting into the business? Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. Actually,
Hold on, he's looking.
she told me, oh yes, the GSSI is
Not the brand?
that's what she said. So GSSI, she said, is one of the main that they've been in it for a long time, and so whatever that means, I know nothing about them, but she gave me GSSI. So if you want to look at those, absolutely do so. But they're extremely expensive. I mean, you're talking, they're extremely expensive. What she does with her and the equipment that they use is not quite as expensive, but and works a little bit different, and doesn't show up, and the water table doesn't affect it, which is one of my concerns about water tables is because sometimes you can find certain surface water, and we don't want to have where that would disrupt anything.
So you can get it wet?
No, you can hide things in water tables.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Things can be hidden in water tables.
I got you. Things can be, okay. And one thing among many I'm not clear on. RA reportedly has acknowledged he was at the bridge at the time of the crime, but does he deny he's the man in the BG video?
That is the the main biggest question, and that will be answered. I almost guarantee that if he is anywhere near that, and he probably will not take that stand for the fact that that would be put in front of him, that photo would be presented to him in front of that jury. And so either as we move forward with the trial, if it goes to trial, I cannot see him taking the stand. He says he's on that bridge. He says he didn't see the victims, yet we have a witness that says she met the victims walking straight towards him. And he says he was wearing the same clothes that's in that video. And if he says that he is the man in that image, I just don't see, and I don't see how we can go. I think that, just my personal opinion right now, I think that there may be, I'm hoping that there will be some type of negotiations. I'm just hoping. But yes, that is the $1 million question right there.
All right. And single mama 4, why is Ethan's injuries redacted?
Well, they're all, they just, they were all, suffered injuries from a type of edged weapon. But exactly which ones and what type of injuries, I don't know. Until we see it and it comes into court, and will they ever fully disclose, we'll hear the audible parts of the descriptions, but we will probably never see the actual images. But we will hear the descriptions of, and if it goes to trial. That's another case that may, we're all looking at all these cases that are just sitting there that we have all this evidence on just from a probable cause affidavit standpoint, and it allows for a lot of speculation. Is that all that the state has? I highly doubt it, but in both cases.
All right. No more questions.
All right, just go back through chat there and pick out some.
I got to scroll back up. Bear with me here.
Mm-hmm.
Got my scroller working. Let's go see what we can find.
Yeah, we're going to take a little time tonight with coffee included.
Let's see here. Hello, hello, hello.
Everybody, and I thank y'all for all the support you've given myself, and especially all the kind words y'all had toward Mrs. Steve. That meant a lot to both of us, and we appreciate it so much.
Let's see here. Everybody's still.
Everybody happy to see you.
And I'll take all the prayers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, and Molly says that I have a worse clown paw than she had. Oh my goodness.
Clown paw.
Clown paw. See? All right, and we did that one. Yep, and Jackie B, there is still so much related to KK we don't know, I bet.
And like I said, I mean, what are the odds on some of that stuff? Now, they can be, they say there's no coincidences in homicides, and I agree. There's a lot of times there's not, but then sometimes there, mathematically there has to be. But if I'm wrong that there's absolutely no relationship or some type of connection, then I'm wrong. But I absolutely do believe that there has to be some time and some way that their paths, as far as Richard Allen and Kegan Kline, crossed at some point.
And from Karen, Richard Allen has a tough road ahead.
I absolutely agree. I don't see any outs for him.
Well deserved.
I see no outs for him.
Let's see here. And
but then again, I've seen trials that there were no outs for that came back and absolutely the defense destroyed the prosecution, and it can happen.
And Olivia too. So agree. There is a connection somewhere between RA and KK, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yep. All right. And this, Patricia, this is priceless. In the Murdaugh jury selections, the lady who was calling out the jury numbers sounded just like Mrs. Steve.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's scary.
But now Saturday I'm gonna do a show on that. I watched the opening of that today, and there are some.
You're doing the Murdaugh.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the from the first responding officer to some of the questions that were raised today, I was unaware of, and I haven't kept up with it much. I've been so busy with these other cases. But what I saw today and some of the investigative techniques, and which will have a great bearing for everyone to understand how law enforcement works.
Blue light, Aries Dawn member, 2 months.
Thank you, Aries Dawn.
Thank you, thank you.
But the how they approached that scene and what they were looking for, from the tire impressions to some of the questions of the investigators and the officers were discussing among themselves, from setting up the securing the crime scene, starting the time logs, trying to mark certain things they saw so that other people in the scene wouldn't contaminate or disrupt or destroy any type of evidence, and there were some great questions asked today. And so I'm going to look at that, and we'll address that on Saturday night. But it is a fascinating case, and it's so every case you look at, you think, how could it get? You couldn't write this stuff, and yet we see that every one of them is just so many different avenues and routes that these offenders or these people that are accused of these crimes, and some of the things that they do is absolutely unbelievable.
And CJK, it's appalling to me. No way would I want my daughter's accused killer to be the same attorney I have.
Or let them know any type of details, because while she was representing the mother, did they ever have any type of access? And I think she's power of attorney of the mother, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that something has to be done about that, because I saw an interview on, I think it was News Nation, where the mother mentioned that the attorney for was Colbert was her power of attorney. And
power of attorney?
Yeah, that's what she said. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what she said. So that will have to be addressed. And was there certain information that she may have known about the victim that no one, or she shouldn't have access to or have knowledge of? And can she use that? I don't know. I can't figure out if there is any kind of information like that, but I can't see her staying there, but I could be wrong. Judges will make that decision.
That ain't right. All right, so let's see here. We did that question. Well,
they're just talking about you.
Nope. Talking about oh, here's a good one. From Mist. I think Mrs. Steve is just as tenacious as Mr. Steve for victims.
And a lot of ways she
probably more so.
Yes. She absolutely is all over Texas and Abercrombie.
Yes.
And
we're gonna find that baby.
Yes, we're gonna try everything that we can.
Oh, and this is good. Dave says we'd be good on the Newlywed Game.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh,
No,
no, I would be up there with you, Dave, if I was on the
yeah,
getaway.
yeah. You'd be in that doghouse, these guys.
Yeah, I stay in the doghouse. I was reviewing while they had her on her IV. I said, that movie where the good nurse was the serial offender. I said, I've already checked your glucose or whatever that little old thing was.
Yeah. What was that thing? You even know what
No,
that
no,
was?
some type of IV.
I don't
But I
remember.
said it doesn't have any leaks, so I don't think anyone could have
Yeah,
spiked
that was nice.
it. She said thanks.
Hmm. Warm and fuzzies.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. See, Drew, if they had moved courthouse, would they have got cameras in courtroom, or are they banned from all of Indiana?
I know that they were discussing, and you say we're probably out quite a while from, and they may, I don't know what they're or how they're going to address. I know that there was something up that there were certain courts and certain courthouses that there was some type of test to see if they were going to allow. And we're still out for, I guess, we're months away, if not a year or two away from any type of trial. So there is a possibility that by the time it gets here, that stage of it, maybe like in South Carolina where they have one camera in the courtroom and it's pooled, and everybody draws from that one camera. Don't know, but I hope that is the case because there's no reason that with modern technology and the way that they run the court systems and everything that there shouldn't be full disclosure. I'm for absolutely every case being televised. And unless it has some impact upon a juvenile and not allowing the children and things like that, it's one thing. And certain victims of certain crimes that you shouldn't be able to see them. But that's about the only thing. Everything else, I think, should be televised.
And Mr. Steve, what do you think about that slick defense lawyer in the Murdaugh trial? He's trying to turn on that good old boy charm with the jury. All right, LOL.
Yeah, and they all and
is it working?
I don't know. I don't know, but that's part of it. The showmanship and the ability to speak in front and get your point across in a way of that doesn't offend the court or doesn't offend a juror. Because sometimes when you jump on witness or you call them out, the manner that you behave can turn off certain members of that jury. You can make the prosecutor as mad as you want to, and you can make it's not real good to make the judge upset, but you can make witnesses upset. But sometimes when you start turning that jury against you, you'll never turn them back. And so he has to be very careful how he brings out that charm because some people may look at it as a used car salesman type of approach.
All right, let's see here. I want to take a look at the Murdaugh case.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Like I said, it's extremely interesting.
From Anna, I believe most anything, but I don't think Murdaugh is innocent. This is not a good sign if I think someone is guilty.
Yes. When I get into the show Saturday, I'll be discussing a lot of things about that 911 tape. And of course, you can never tell by the interview of the 911 tape, but it is information of recapping it and listening to it. And also you can't, but there were certain things that happened and occurred that make sense, that if you was the offender, you would have taken those steps to cover up certain things. And that's what we'll be focusing on. And I think it'd be interesting.
This is priceless. Purdue. Mr. Steve, you are amazing, everything you do. And beside every successful man is the support of a good woman.
Yes, even one-handed.
You hit it on the head. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Purdue RN, she would love to be able to rest her bad arm on Winston right now.
I sure would.
The worst thing is that we can't keep the grandson this week, and so the grandson's not happy.
I'm not happy.
And Mrs. Steve is not happy.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Dave, does the PD have the ability to not take the case?
The public defender?
Yep.
Someone from the office will have to, but the courts will make that. And before we had a public defender's office here, they had a roll call of that if you was going to be practicing and within our court jurisdiction, practice as attorney, you had to take the certain amount of cases, and you was on that roll call, and so some courts operate that way. But when you get the public defender, yes, someone from that office will have to take the case, and judges. I've seen judges tell people or tell attorneys when they say, well, I can't take that case. If they didn't have good cause, they took that case. Like I said, judges, you do not want to make upset.
And CJK, conflict of interest, she has POA. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. That's weird. What the mother said. And I don't know how that's even possible. All the other stuff of representing two people within one community that's committed two different types of crimes, and one of them being the parent of another, I can see that. The power of attorney, I think that's going to have to be addressed.
And Aries Dawn, that just seems so wrong. There was not one other attorney that could have been appointed for BK. I agree. That
they may have been, but she took it, and I don't know.
So she has to agree to take that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to find out a lot of stuff about this. I don't know. And
I don't know.
It's absolutely mind-boggling.
And Jennifer Rochelle?
Hello.
Am I seeing her? Yes. Hey, Jennifer, glad you popped in.
Man,
hope you're feeling better.
We have had so much. Molly with her injury, and then Jennifer and Mrs. Steve. Oh, man.
It's just been one of those times. Let's see here. Here we go. Steve, was there one crime that you were on that PO'd you more than others? Oh, yeah.
A lot of the children crimes.
Yes.
Yeah. The most vulnerable, anytime you prey upon them, absolutely have no use for you. I have more, I value a rabid dog more than I do some people that attack children, or anyone attacks children. I'll have more respect for a rabid dog than them.
You want to talk about the 5 police officers? What do you think about the 5 police officers killing a man in Tennessee?
Is that the one that were the on the traffic stop? They'll have, sadly, if we don't know the full details of the case, but regardless, if they abuse their powers, they're going to experience the full weight of the judicial system coming down on them. I just saw a glimpse of it on the news tonight, and I know they're expecting, I think even the state of Georgia has brought in or alerted 1,000 of the guard here for the state of Georgia in case they have something that occurs similar to Rodney King, and hopefully that won't be the case. Just let the courts handle it. If you want to assemble, do it respectfully and without any type of destruction of honest, hardworking people. There's no need to destroy their properties. I don't know where it's going to go, but let the courts handle it, and hopefully they will handle it swiftly.
And from Todd, any thoughts on what clearly appears to be headphones on BG's head, as can be seen in the 48 frames from the video? Is this a possible connection to the another person being involved?
You know, and everything about that pixelation, is it headphones? Is it a hat? Is it movement of the head? There's so many different things, and they're about the only thing I really agree with Carter about of anything when he's talking about the image is look at him from the shoulders down, and look at his clothing, look at his walk, look at his body stand, that anyone that was a part of his family would recognize. And we have an individual that describes the exact clothing that says he's on the bridge that day. So as far as all the headgear and all the pixelation in the face, I really don't know. People see so many things in that, and so I don't even look at the head part anymore. I just look at the clothing and the body style.
And from Teresa, Mr. Steve, I'm worried about Delphi prosecutor not getting help like a special prosecutor.
Oh, they got the full state of Indiana that they can call upon, and if they fail, then it's their fault, because it's just like everything. It is the state of Indiana, and he's the elected official that's supposed to be representing the state, and he's supposed to be well qualified. And if he is, then of course we'll see justice. If he messed up, then that'd be something that we don't want to experience.
All right, let's see here. And Robin at Steve, do you think RA's attorney will call Kelsey to testify about all her inconsistencies and how detrimental that could be?
They may call her for a lot of things, but what the court allows and what line of questioning they allow, and how the juries would take anyone destroying a family member unless there's good cause and there is good reason. The inconsistencies, you have to be careful with that. And if the defense is going to be going on that she played a part, then that is a risk that the defense will have to live and die by.
All right, let's see here. And Honeybee, geez, this is the injured crew. I re-injured my leg and been hobbling around in PT. Good grief.
Chris has the mob crew, and I've got the injured crew.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
Yeah.
All right.
Steve's injured crew. Oh boy.
Oh, that is too funny. Let's see here.
Oh, that was cute.
That was cute. That was cute. All right. And Jennifer is going to be back on the ladder in no time.
Oh goodness. Get somebody there with you on the ladder.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
says me.
Well, not on the ladder, but holding the ladder. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. We don't need more. Oh, that's not. Oh, Jennifer's like me. She likes to work in her slippers. There's no place for a ladder.
Something about the term slippers and a ladder. I just don't understand that now.
That is funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Let me catch up. And Graham 88, what do you think about trials being done on TV?
I'm all for them. Like I said, as long as you don't do anything that will harm the future of a child, and exploit them or any of the victims. All the other, and there's ways with the technologies and how they allow it now and protect things. And I think that it should be allowed.
All right. And Love Tina, what case are you most interested in? Ooh-wee.
I have a lot of cases I'm interested in. All of them are unsolved. Those are the ones that carry the highest priority for me. And a lot of them, especially with the Ci-CLOPS, are the cases involving children, such as Texas, Iowa, and so, you know, anybody that attacks children and the code cases. And the thing you have to think about is that the code cases that are unsolved, there are still offenders out there, and they have the potential of continue to offend. And so we have to look at those and work them hard and hope that we can have an impact. Even bringing awareness to the community that your child wasn't the victim of a past crime, but to bring awareness into that community that that offender is still in your community may have an impact and save a child. And that's what we want to do.
All right. And CJK, glad you brought it up. If someone resists, a taser doesn't work after 1 or 2 uses, the person is being combative. What should law enforcement do?
Well, there's a use of force continuum. Whatever's within that use of force continuum that you have at your disposal, you use, and go by that. And I've been there. You know, I've gone all the way up that use of force to using lethal force. Fortunately enough in my career that even when I used lethal force, they didn't die. But then you come down to whatever, because after that force was used, within a few minutes, I was able to get control, and it just happens. And there's not, you know, you have to go up and down that use of force continuum, and just obey the rules.
And you have come home bloody.
Oh, I have come home bloody. Absolutely.
Yes. All right, you're done.
I'm done. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. And like I said, Saturday night we're going to do the Murdaugh homicides, and then Sunday, and probably may not even. I won't make it for either the members only on Sunday, nor will I make it for the morning watch Sunday night. I just, like I said, I got to go up to Indiana, so I'll miss a couple of shows, and y'all just bear with me because, like I said, y'all are a great community. I can't do what I do without y'all's support, and just hang around, and I'll be back on Tuesday. And I appreciate that. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to these families. And y'all stay safe out there, and we'll see y'all soon.
Love y'all.